My name's Phil Dust. I'm a biology teacher at Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Chemistry and Biology in Almaty in Kazakhstan. And I'm here with my wife and my 8-year-old son. Well, we had quite a few options with where we were going to go, but we decided on Kazakhstan because, well, three reasons really. I'm a bit of an Eastern Bloc car fanatic, and in the UK, I had several classic Eastern Bloc cars. So coming to a country that has lots of them around everywhere for us to see was nice. The second reason was the proper weather. I grew up in the north of the UK where we had really good winters and really good summers. So as I sit here talking to you right now, it's the end of May and it's about 30 centigrade outside. But just 2 months ago, it was still snowing, and 3 months ago, it was at -10. So it's really nice to have that kind of weather. And then the other one, I'm a biologist and a geologist. So living in a city that has huge mountainous views all day, every day, and a lovely national park at 3,000 meters above sea level was a really fantastic place to live. Oh, they're overwhelmingly friendly, overwhelmingly accommodating. It's really been an absolute dream working out here because local people are just absolutely fantastic. You do have to accommodate their very laid back attitude towards planning, but that's no problem if you're okay with that. Wouldn't really say we've had a culture shock. I think because my wife is from Swaziland, which is very similar to Kazakhstan in terms of its sort of laid back attitude to things, we didn't really find anything a culture shock at all, really. It was everything was fantastic. I don't think I've got a favourite Kazakh dish, but I would say anything with horse meat in. Horse meat's a really wonderful meat that people turn their noses up at the UK and they think it's disgusting to eat. But horse meat's very low in fat, it's very high in protein, and it's very high in omega-3 fatty acids. So it's a much better meat for you than beef. So anything with horse meat in it's good for me. Yeah, I have been to a Kazakh wedding, and that was a phenomenal thing. We obviously had got used to the way the Kazakhs plan things. So when they said arrive at 6 o'clock, we arrived at 7:30 p.m., assuming we would be about on time, and we still waited an hour and a half before it started. Yeah, if you get somewhere 3 hours late, you're probably just about on time. So yeah, we've been that. The other thing about Kazakh hospitality, several of my colleagues, local colleagues, have invited my family to their house for a meal, and they're overwhelmingly hospitable when it comes to things like that. But they also say, and everybody says this: "My home is your home." After they've invited you there, and they really do mean that. They really are very, very accommodating. Yeah, a little bit. I know how to say things like "Salamet beer, Kalanis Kalai," which is a sort of formal way of saying "Hello, how are you?" "Rakmet sizga," which is "Thank you very much." And one that I use quite a lot, "Kununuz jaksa otsun," which is obviously for saying have a good day, have a nice day," something like that. Okay, well, positive aspects. Kazakh people are so friendly and accommodating. Really, really beautiful scenery everywhere. And their sense of family is the thing that we probably love the most. We obviously have a young son, 8-year-old son with us here, and it's so very safe and so very friendly that we have no problems letting him play outside unsupervised with people. In terms of the negatives, I would say the biggest one for me, being a biologist, is the pollution. It's not so bad in the summer here in Almaty, but in the winter, when the pollution can't escape through the cold air coming off the mountains, it just builds up and builds up, and it does get really, really smoggy in the city. And it's because petrol's so cheap, so there's lots and lots of cars with very, very big engines, and there's lots of very, very old, very polluting cars on the roads. So that's probably the biggest negative for me. Make sure you've got lots of clothes if you're coming in the winter because it is incredibly cold, but it's also very, very hot in the summer. And again, because I have a wife who's from Africa, just be prepared for a lot of curiosity towards foreigners that they've never seen before. It's very friendly curiosity, but it does feel like you're followed around by the paparazzi sometimes. From my home country, well, I would say just ignore all of the stereotypes you hear. Everybody instantly says you're going to Astana. Is it safe? Is it safe? Any country that has a stan at the end must be unsafe. That's nonsense. It's the safest country, and I would say it's much safer than the UK. And ignore anything that you've read about it on the news, or if you've watched Borat, don't bother. It's nothing like that. It's a really wonderful, friendly place, and you should come and visit it because you won't regret it.